Alright guys, so let's imagine I have 4 different spectators helping me out for this trick. So this trick uses any borrowed and shuffled deck of cards, so we can truly take the deck and give it as many shuffles as the spectator wants. You guys can see here, all the cards are genuinely mixed. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to split the deck into 4 roughly equal piles. So we'll do 1, 2, how about we do 3, and we'll do 4 right over here. Okay, so 4 piles for each spectator, just like this. And now I'm going to invite them to shuffle the piles by dealing the cards like this, or they can also shuffle the cards in their hand, just kind of like deal and shuffle, just kind of alternate doing that like this. And every spectator can have a turn at doing this. And let's just pretend that, you know, they're all doing this at the same time. So obviously it would take a lot quicker. But since I don't have 4 people here, I'm just gonna have to do it one at a time. But they can truly deal, shuffle as many times as they want. They can also take cards out of the middle like this. They can take a chunk of cards out of the middle, put it on top if they want, and everyone can do that. Let's say they do this, they can take another chunk out of the middle here, put it on top. They can take a chunk out of the middle and put it on top. And then we can also give it another shuffle by having them cut a small pile, shuffle it, and then exchange it with someone else like this. We can have them cut a pile, shuffle it, exchange it with someone else like this. It truly doesn't matter. We can really shuffle these cards as much as you guys want. However, let's go ahead and count how many cards we're all left with, because remember, we were all switching cards and shuffling them around. So let's see how many cards everyone has. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for this spectator. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for this spectator, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 for this spectator. Okay, so only 2 of you guys have the same amount, but that's actually not the goal that I was trying to achieve here. You know, it would be cool if you guys had the same amount of cards, but obviously that would be impossible because you guys were shuffling and cutting everything. What would be even more impossible and more of a crazy coincidence would be if we all had the same cards. So spectator number 1, can you flip over top card in your pile? It's the Ace of Spades. Spectator number 2 has the Ace of Diamonds. Spectator number 3 has the Ace of Clubs, and spectator number 4 has the Ace of Hearts. And of course, this is a completely borrowed and shuffled deck of cards. Everything can be examined. But yeah, that is the trick. And now for the tutorial. Alright guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. This is one of my favorite tricks because it's so chaotic and so random, and the spectators truly have no idea what's happening until the end of the trick. And that's why I think it hits so incredibly hard, because everything is so confusing throughout the trick that it just makes the ending that much more impossible. So anyways, let's get into the secret of how this works. So this is a truly impromptu trick. There's no setup required for this trick. You can truly do this with anybody's deck of cards, as long as there are 52 cards. So I like to do this trick with the aces, but there is an alternate beginning to this trick if you want. You can have one of the spectators, as they're shuffling, you can have them name their favorite 4 of a kind, and they can truly choose any 4 of a kind, like the queens, the kings, and whichever one they name. Essentially, that will be the 4 of a kind that is produced in the end. So if you want them to have the decision of which 4 of a kind appears in the end, you can obviously do that. But in this tutorial, I'm just going to show you how to do the aces, but this applies for any 4 of a kind that they name as well. Essentially, you let them shuffle, you're going to take the deck back, and you're going to split the deck into 4 equal piles, and you'll be holding the cards to yourself so that the spectators cannot see the faces, but the exposed view is this. So you're going to spread until you find your first ace, and you're essentially going to leave the ace on top of every single pile. So every single pile will have an ace on top. Now you might be asking, well, what if the ace is like very close to the beginning here, and then their pile only contains 4 cards? Well, if that's the case, if the ace was in the very beginning, I'll simply remove this and then move it to the bottom and continue to spread a few more cards on top, so that now there's now a few more cards and the ace will now remain on top, but there's now, you know, a 4th of the deck here. So that applies for every single ace in the deck. You're just going to spread until you have roughly a 4th of the cards in your hand, and then leave the ace on top of the pile like this. So continue to spread here. This is fine for now. Put that down, and then here for the last pile, just take the ace wherever it is and just cut it to the top of the pile. and then place that down. So now you will essentially have an ace on top of every single pile. So once you're in this position, every spectator will now be holding the piles, and you will instruct them on how to shuffle the piles. And it's very important that you begin with the dealing instructions. So you tell them to just start dealing cards. So now they're going to start dealing cards, and as soon as that first ace goes down for every single pile, now that ace will be on the bottom of the pile, and now they will be free to completely shuffle and deal and shuffle and deal as many times as they want, because the cards on top can truly be shuffled. So as long as they deal that first card down, now the rest of the pile can be randomized. And of course, every single spectator will be doing this at the same time, so you won't have to wait for everyone's turn. I'm just doing that because I only have 2 hands currently, but obviously all these cards are very shuffled. So now at this point, a little extra thing I like to do is have everyone pick up their pile and grab a chunk from the middle and just place it on top. You can also have them take a chunk from the top and place it in the middle, whichever you prefer. You can even give them the 2 options of taking cards from the middle or from the top in the middle. It's completely up to you, as long as they don't mess up the bottom of the deck, which contains the ace. Then it's completely randomized. And now the final step of the shuffling process is for them to alternate piles. They can exchange piles if they want. They can also cut piles from the top of their deck, shuffle it, and then exchange it with someone else's and drop it on top of theirs. And this is all completely randomized because the tops of the piles, once again, truly don't matter for this trick. So these cards can completely be rearranged. As long as it doesn't affect the bottom, then you're good to go. So now the final step is for everyone to count how many cards they have in their pile, and the only purpose for this is to bring that ace from the bottom back up to the top, since you are reverse counting the cards. So everyone will pick up the pile and they will count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, bringing that ace to the top. And it really doesn't matter how many cards are in the piles, because remember, it truly is random. But now every single ace will be back on top of the pile. As you can see, this trick is extremely simple, but because of the chaos and the shuffling, it really makes it very, very difficult to backtrack any of this method. And yeah, that is essentially it. So now you can have everyone sort of compare pile sizes and see if anyone was the same, but just remind them that that wasn't really the purpose of this trick. And now you can remind them that they named a random 4 of a kind at the beginning, if that's the way you're doing this trick. In this case, I just like to show it as a random coincidence effect. So I'll just have spectator number 1 flip over their card, and then every single person will be matching after that. And yeah, that right there is the trick. As you can see, it's extremely easy. There's like almost nothing to it. It's completely hands off. Everything in this trick happens in the spectator's own hands. You just have to be very, very clear in your instructions. Make sure you're watching the spectators, because if they mess up in any way, then you should know how to redirect them to get them back on the right track. You can even take the cards at one point. Like if the spectator truly does accidentally lose an ace in the middle, you can just take the cards back and say, here, we can keep shuffling like this. It truly doesn't matter. And then just kind of, you can look through the pile and just control the card back yourself to the bottom or the top or whatever. But yeah, that is essentially the trick. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this fun little coincidence effect. So if you like this video, be sure to like, comment for more, and also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.